Hi everybody. Okay, so today in this video, oh, it's Steph by the way, hi! Okay, so today in this video, I'm going to show you how I take my polymer clay beads and I turn them into pieces of jewelry. We have earrings and we have this little pendant. And so I hope you enjoy this little how-to, or at least how I do things. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so we are going to make a pendant, well, two pendants and two pairs of earrings today. So what I have is from the last, well, okay, so the last video I posted, I didn't use these colors. I used different colors, but I already went ahead and made the jewelry. I got excited, and I forgot to film it. So these are another set, same technique. I did the Skinner blend and marbling effect, and I cut them out the same way, baked them, and we are ready to go. So, sorry. All right, so we have our clay pieces, and then for the pink one, I have these little, I believe they're like 4 or 6, I don't know. They're small little beads that are gonna go with this one, which I like. It almost has the same kind of effect. I don't know if you can see that, but it almost has the same kind of effect as this one, you know, that kind of marbling effect. So I think it'll go nicely. And then for the blue, I have some, these are probably 8mm and these are probably 6mm beads of different blues. Oh no, don't fall. Sorry. So we're gonna do the pink set first, and then we're gonna move on to the blue. Okay. So what I'm using today is I'm using a 20 gauge silver parawire for both. I thought that these colors would be nice for spring or summer. And if you can hear that laughter in the background, that is my husband watching random videos. And he may come out and talk, so I don't know. We'll see. So we have our wire. I have this bag of jump rings that I will probably use because I do have silver jump rings in here. And then I have my handy dandy knitting needle, and this is a US size 10 or a 6mm. And then I have pliers. These are the round nose. These are I think chain nose is what they call them. And then I have my wire snips. These are the flush cutter. I just like using those. They're nice. So let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to try to not make this a super long video. So the good thing about having the jump rings is that I don't have to make the jump rings. So I'm just going to grab, just make sure I grab all of the same sizes. It really doesn't matter what size you use, just as long as you can get them to fit comfortably through the hole in your earring pieces. I'm going to take out a couple more just in case. Oh, and I need my ear wires would be nice. Let me go ahead and pause and I'll be right. Okay. So I do have my ear wires now. Sorry about that. So I just picked these up, I believe, at Hobby Lobby. So I'll need 2 sets. All right. And I'm so fancy, I still keep them in the little baggie. But it is what it is. No big deal. All right, so I do have to apologize about my lighting situation. You know, this is budget crafting, budget videoing, filming, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to use what we can. And things turn out nicely anyway, so it's okay. All right, so I'm going to take put those aside. I'm going to take these, and what I'm going to do, because I'm going to add these little beads here, I need to cut off a little bit of my 20 gauge wire. And you don't need that much. I'm going to take off about maybe 1.5 centimeters. I apologize, I don't know, because I went to American schools. That's beside the point. So I'm going to take my wire, and let me see if I can zoom in so you can see. There we go. And about here, I'm going to make, I guess that's half an inch, maybe a centimeter. I'm going to bend it to a 90-degree angle. And what I'm going to do is I'm making a loop so that the loops can attach to my jump rings. And I don't know if you can see that, but I have marked a little spot right here. You can't really see that, I'm sorry, with a Sharpie marker. And I try to use that for my loops so that they're a consistent size. Oops, you couldn't see what I did. I'm sorry. And that's ugly. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and I'm going to bend it in. And so now I have my loop. Then I'm going to take one of my little pink beads and hope that it fits on the wire, and it does. Yay! I'm going to drop that there, and I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to again try to bend the wire. See if I can do this so you guys can see, to another 90-degree angle, as close to 90 degrees as I can get. It is a little more difficult when you have a bead on there to get it flush to the bead, but you just do your best because it'll turn out pretty regardless. Okay, so I have that. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut about that same amount off and try to hold, like when you're cutting your wire, try to hold both ends of it as you cut, because you know, it will fly, and I don't want it to fly at your face or at your eyes. So I'm going to take my wire towards the end at my little marking, and I'm going to just bend it, twist it around until it closes. And as you can see, I didn't twist enough or cut off enough, so I'm just going to do my best to close it up. And okay, these are not perfect. They are not the same size, but I believe once they go onto the earring, people probably are not going to notice. If you are a perfectionist and you want them the same, then I would go ahead and suggest maybe, like if you want them exactly the same, then I would go ahead and suggest maybe measuring your wire when you cut it and measuring when you bend it, you know. So I'm going to do that same thing again. I maybe didn't cut off as much this time because, as you can see, that is what was left of what I cut the first time. Now what you can do with these little scraps is you do not have to throw them away. You can use these as like connectors. So you can do like little figure eights or little swirls or something like that. I know it's really tiny. It's less than an inch, but you may be able to use it for something. So I don't suggest throwing those little scraps away. Grab a little box, like a little Tupperware thing, and put them in there, or you know, a little Ziploc baggie or something to keep them until you're ready to try to do connectors. So again, I'm going to take my wire. Let me back up because I'm having a hard time staying in frame. Take my wire and I'm going to do a little 90-degree angle. And then I am going to find my marking. There it is. And turn. Okay. And see, it kind of looks a little funny, but you know what? You can fix it. It's your piece of jewelry that you are making. You can have it look however you want to. Once the bead's on there, I don't really think it's gonna really matter, but you can play with it, mess around with it, do what you'd like. Then take your other bead. Whoops. And I probably should be wearing my glasses. Where are my glasses? All right, glasses. Dr. Pepper. Okay. Sorry. All right, so then again, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna hold this bead down to this loop as close as I can, and then I'm just gonna bend with my nail and try to get it to as close as a 90 degree as I can, okay? And then again, take my pliers and bend my little loop. Okay, so let me put these next to each other and see how they are comparing in size. So you can see this one is a little bit bigger than this one. So what I can do is I can come in and I can snip off a little bit of this loop. Let's see if I can do that on camera so you can see. Zoom. All right. So I'm gonna take my little flush cutters. That's what these are really good for, is getting in those little teeny tiny spots. And I'm just gonna cut off like a little, if you can, it's so tiny, the amount that I'm gonna cut off. It's on my finger. See how little bit I cut off there? And then I can take my pliers, and I'm doing this at a weird angle so that you guys can see. And I'm just gonna close it up, okay? So then, actually that's better. You can see they're pretty much the same now. You have a smaller loop here and a longer loop there, okay? So now I have my beads, or I have my polymer clay. Whoa, there we go. So now I have my polymer clay earring pieces, my beads, and these. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can attach jump rings like that if you wanted to. I don't like that. It's a little, well, that may turn out. Let's see. Part of the thing about creating that I find fun is there's really, like, in my opinion, yeah, you can have your opinion, but in my opinion, there's really no right or wrong. You know, you are creating your own pieces, your own art. If you like it, great. You know, sorry, I'm talking and not explaining what I'm doing. So I opened up the jump ring, and hopefully you saw that when I opened up the jump ring, I don't open it this way. You take both of your pliers and you twist it like that. You twist it open. Okay, so then I did that, and I put it through the hole that I made in the clay, and then I'm going to take my bead, I'm going to place it on like that, then I'm going to take it and I'm going to close it up. And when you close it up, you want to make sure that you don't have a large, you want to try not to have any gap. Sometimes that's easier said than done. So you have that. And then what you can do is you can add another jump ring, or you can just take your loop that you made, you can open that up and attach it right to the earring. And I think I'm going to do it that way and see how that looks. But what I was saying before is, you know, this is your art. You can create how you want to create it. Okay, And that's one thing you want to do too, is you want to make sure that when you put your earring on, that it's going to lay the way you want it to, okay? But yeah, you can make it how you want to, you know. Don't let people tell you how you have to create your own art, okay? And that's what this is, you know, to me, this is creating art. So here's my one earring, okay? And what I can do is I can put it on a earring card so you guys can see how it'll hang a little easier. So again, I take my jump ring and I put it through. That's why when you make your own little earring pieces out of your polymer clay, you want to try to make it so that you don't go too far down into the clay, that you make your hole towards the edge so that your jump rings can fit through. So you don't have to struggle like I just did. But I think part of my issue right there was when I was sanding it, I was sanding all of these, and I did that. I didn't make a video. I don't think I've posted a video on how I sand the clay, but before I make jewelry out of it, I use actually I use a nail file. And I don't have it with me, it's in with my clay. But it's one of those, it's a long nail file, and it looks like a salon nail file, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got 7 different, like, coarse, oh, words are hard, I'm sorry. 7 different levels of coarseness. I don't know, guys, I'm really sorry. But I use that to smooth it out, to buff it, and to make it look shiny and pretty. And what I didn't do is, after I was done, I didn't run these through water to clean out the hole. So I probably should have done that. So I had to take a little bit of wire and clean it out that way. So I talk too much sometimes, I think. So I'm going to take the top and I'm going to open it, and then make sure that the earring sits the way I want it to, and it'll sit this way. So that's good. And then I'm going to close it back. And I close these little loops the same way that I close the jump rings. So there's one set of earrings, and I'm going to pause and grab a card. 2 seconds. Okay, so I have my little earring card. And I'm just going to pop them through. And this is what they'll look like. So those are done. All right, so now on to this. This is just going to be a really simple wire wrap. I'm going to take about, I always want to do more, pull off more on the spool than I need to. So that's probably about, I don't know, 14 inches or so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go close to the middle as possible. And then I'm going to wrap my wire, around my knitting needle twice. And then I'm going to take this, and they cross, and I'm going to twist it twice. 1, 2. And then pull it off. So then I have that. And then I'm going to place it in the center. And here's where you just go crazy. You can wrap it around. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna play and see what we come up with. I don't usually, when I'm doing stuff like this, I don't usually have a plan per se. I just do things as the mood strikes me. So we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna put it on here, okay? And then I'm gonna take the wire on the right side and I'm going to just go ahead and I'll just thread both through. Because what I do to the right side, I want to do to the left side, and I want to try to make it as symmetrical as possible. So I'm just going to do that. And then on the right side, I'm going to wrap it around and through. And then wrap it. And like I said, this is going to be just like really just a super simple wrap. And I want to kind of make them, as I said, as symmetrical as possible. And this would be a good time to have nylon jaw pliers so that you can straighten out your wire. I don't have those yet. And so I'm going to come and wrap it, pull it through. And I want to, as I'm doing it, I want to try to push down on the back side as well. And then, so now I have this, and now I'm going to pull it through again on the right. And pull it through again on the left. Trying to make it symmetrical. Okay, so I have this, and I'm probably going to do a couple of swirls, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swirl them both in. So I don't need all this wire to do swirls, so I'm going to cut some off. I'm going to start about here and save that, and then the same on the other side, and save that. Okay, and so then I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to hold it at the end of my wire, and I'm going to start twisting in. So that's the effect you're getting, twisting in. Now, what you can do is you can take these pliers and you can kind of keep it flat as you're twisting, as you're swirling. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this side and coming in. So hold it at the end and twist in. And when you're doing it, like, don't try to twist your arm like that. Like, just go ahead and reposition, because you don't want to hurt yourself. And so I'm just going to keep twisting like that. Okay. So now I can look at these and I can say, okay, well, what do I want to do with them? I'm going to do another twist or swirl. I should say. Like that. I'm going to swirl this one in like that as well. And press down. Okay. And there you have it. It's really, really simple. It doesn't need to be fancy. It can be fancy. I have done a couple. And what I'm doing here is I'm just opening up these two. So this will hang. You could do silver chain. I don't have any chain. I usually just put it on a cord or whatever. And so here's your set. So you have a pendant and you have earrings. And I think since this video is so long that I'm gonna turn these into another one. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and I hope you all are well, and I will see you soon. Bye.